had a really rotten cop that busted a lot of people, totally fabricated evidence, and it was really terrible. Ruined a lot of people's lives, and I think the governor finally had to issue 71 pardons of people that had been convicted on his testimony. That horrible experience convinced me that the incentive in the war of drugs for everybody to look good and be a hero, if you're in law enforcement, is a good way for people to go to the dark side because they get rewarded for being heroes. I ordered my assistant to polygraph this guy Lawrence. I then asked the Commissioner of State Police to get a narcotics agent undercover and go and track this guy down and find out what was going on. But that never happened. The state police didn't do it. My deputy didn't follow my orders. And in retrospect, this was years ago, but in retrospect, it was because they all wanted to be heroes. There was huge press coverage about the number of busts being made and the attack on the drug problem in St. Albans. When it came to light, another state's attorney, our now Senator Patrick Leahy, got an undercover agent from New York to come up and busted him in about an hour. So I was outraged by the lack of response of our state people, and frankly, I think it's potentially endemic misbehavior in the war on drugs because people are looking to be heroes, and sometimes they're not very honest about it. The drug war wasn't just about dangerous substances. It was about repressing dissent. Young people who were against the war in Vietnam were pretty vocal about it, and a good number of those probably smoked marijuana. So it was plain to me that the whole drug prosecution had an aim to suppress dissent. In fact, I think Nixon's chief of staff, Haldeman, has admitted that recently. We did initiate, when I became state's attorney, I really initiated a much tougher drunk driving policy. We would try cases, we would get convictions, we wouldn't bargain them away. And I was perfectly content with that because I knew that was really dangerous to people. But I couldn't find a rationale for doing the same thing to people who merely use drugs. All drugs are harmful if used improperly, and certainly in excess. And addiction possibility is high. Cigarettes, too. And the problem isn't that, it's that the present system has stimulated the narco-terrorists to sell drugs and increase purity and make more money. And so drugs have gotten cheaper, they've gotten purer, and they've gotten more available under the current policy. And the only way I can see to reverse that is to regulate them, have the money go to the state for rehab, and hope we can drive the narcos out of business. Many police officers are opposed to legalization. These brave men and women have put their lives in danger, and they see the horrors of overuse of drugs and and addiction, and anybody in their right mind would want to stop that. So I don't mean to be opposed to police in general, but I think people who've had experiences with the war on drugs know it's not working and are looking for a better solution. Well, I was at a conference at Vermont Law School on drug policy, and Jack Cole spoke very persuasively and just happened to tap into my feelings that I've had for years about how bad the war on drugs was. And talked with Jack and became involved, and I'm glad I did.